Hey everybody, I'm a little tired right now. My teeth feel weird from the dentist. Yeah. But let's keep on going.
He, bless him, was not making himself an easy target, and costing the Griffin distance with each failure. As I watched, Calamity suddenly swooped upward, pulling a full loop. And to my dismay, the Griffin matched his move, looping slightly inside his own to close a distance with him yet again. I heard clopping coming closer, but as I turned my attention back to the boxcars ahead, I saw nothing. Confused, I took a step towards the edge, looking down to see if they were racing up along the ground, only to find 3 slaver ponies racing along the side of my boxcar, passing me. Somewhere, a slaver unicorn was aiding them with spells. A magic glow held their hooves to the side of the moving train. "Luna raped you with her horn," I growled, feeling incensed at the magical trickery, and swung about the assault rifle, firing to their hindquarters, flanks, and necks as they raced down the next boxcar towards the passenger car. 2 ponies screamed as they fell from the train, mortally wounded, one breaking his neck in the fall. But the third made it to the gap between cars before I could bring my weapon to bear on him. The train was moving at a fair clop now. I raced along the roof, jumping to the next car and skidding to a stop. I looked
Magic
down
changes
between the
all
cars,
the damn
quickly
rules.
pulled my head back as the slaver spotted me and fired a mouth-held submachine gun into the air where my head had just been. Focusing, I pulled the wide-eyed slaver up out of his hiding space. Then, something hit me from behind, sending a stripe of searing pain up my back. I dropped him, the damnably lucky bastard falling safely into the roof just across the gap. I was surrounded now. The pony I'd missed before had come up behind me while I was focused on this new one, a whip clenched in her mouth that she wielded with hellish accuracy. With a crack of her whip, she knocked my assault rifle out of the air, the weapon sailing over the cliff face the track was skirting. The SMG slaver had taken my moment of surprise to reload, and now grinned. In his mind, he had already killed me. Another explosion from above, and 2 bullets ripped through the slaver, felling him. His body, SMG still clenched in his teeth, slid off the boxcar roof. A moment later, Calamity swooped low over the boxcar and banked sharply, his hooves scraping along the cliff that rose up above us on the other side of the train. The Griffin swooped over the train in pursuit. I ducked. The whip pony wasn't quick enough and got clipped by one of the Griffin's wings, the hit cleanly decapitating the slaver pony.
Ooh.
I felt my heart skip a beat as I saw the blades that adorned the forward edge of the Griffin's wings. Scooping up the decapitated pony's whip, I kicked the rocking head off the side of the train. I curled the whip up in my saddlebags and brought out my combat shotgun and moved, first to one side of the boxcar, then to the other. The spell the slaves were using changed the situation dramatically, and I was painfully worried about how many had gotten past me before I wised up to it. Further up the train, I heard more gunfire as the remaining train ponies fought for their lives. Down the train, I thought I heard Velvet Remedy scream. I turned towards the sound, my hindquarters to the front of the train when something thumped hard somewhere to the front of the train, and then the train gave a shudder as the wheels crunched through a body that had fallen down onto the tracks. Calamity landed deftly beside me. I stared at him in surprise, and he seemed to blush as he hoofed at his mane. "I'm afraid Razorwing can't join us. He refused to get off my tail, even as I swooped between the 2 cars." Calamity smiled,
Fucking
looking around as if trying
dumbass.
to find a missing friend. "I swear, he was just behind me a moment ago." I smirked, then pointed a hoof towards the passenger car. "Go help Velvet." Calamity nodded and took to the air, not even needing to fly as the now galloping train brought the passenger car right to him. I saw him disappear into the gap in front of it, then galloped to the aid of the train ponies. As I did so, a frightened voice in my head asked me what my life had become. What I was becoming, that there were so many ponies who wanted to take my life, and that I was charging towards them. The last survivor of the train ponies and I raced across the rooftops and dived down again into the open door of the passenger car, as twin beams of pink magical energy zorched the sky, fired from a white unicorn raider's battle saddle. The train pony who had been with us seconds ago was now nothing but sparkling pink ash, blowing away in the wind. The passenger car was empty. Sort of. The body of a black-coated slaver hung from the ceiling, filled with needles. The spell on its hooves was keeping it from falling to the floor, even after death. It gave the earth pony with me quite a start. To be honest, I might have shrieked just a little too. "I'll tell you, I prefer slavers who shoot bullets," the train pony gasped, recovering. "You can't wrap a bandage around being turned to dust."
Yeah.
I quite thoroughly agreed. Velvet Remedy ran through the back door, coming off the flat car behind. Seeing the train pony, she motioned for him to head behind her. "Please, go meet up with Calamity. He's at the caboose." "We've got a nasty
I'm a
one
little
on the way,"
confused about what's
warned her,
going on.
and another 4 coming up behind her.
But that's probably
I think
because I'm
these are the last
tired.
of them, but one of them using a battle saddle with magical energy weapons. Velvet Remedy nodded warily, then looked up and pointed at the corpse above. "This one came in on the roof, like an insect." She was clearly shaken, more at having to take a life than the strangeness of the circumstances, but I suspected she couldn't bring herself to focus on that. Not yet.
For a second, I thought
I
change
began
it,
to wonder
but
if her
this is
occasional
before
unpleasantness wasn't part of some coping mechanism for dealing with the horrors of the equestrian wasteland. The earth pony trotted past her, reloading his weapon and bucking the door closed behind him. A minute later, Calamity galloped up. "Every pony's in the caboose, and I kicked it off. Slavers won't be getting to him from there." He lowered his head and stomped to the floor. "Here's where we hold the line." There was no time for such discussion. Calamity had barely spoken his intent when 3 slavers, led by the unicorn pony, came into the car at us. Not from in front or behind, but through the windows. The passenger car exploded into violence. Sats locked onto the...
Now, I got a question to ask. How the... Okay, so they attack the slaver town. They wipe it out pretty much. Get on train and go. Killed what is... From the perspective of the slaver ponies, a living goddess. They killed a living goddess. So, how the fuck... I could kind of understand the Pegasi and Griffin. You know, they could fly. They could cover ground easier. Probably catch up. How the hell did all those unicorns and earth ponies keep up with it? Teleportation? We see in the show that teleportation's kind of a high-end spell. You, take some... Not every unicorn can do it. I mean, we pretty much only see Celestia and Twilight do... And Luna. And Luna do teleportation, but no one else. So how the fuck did they get there ahead of time? And if they were already there, fuck it. I'm too tired to bitch.
Slaver coming through the window on my left. At this range, I could hardly miss. Unfortunately, neither could they. Velvet Remedy's horn glowed as I fired into the chest of my first target, once and again. His armor stopped much of the damage, but it knocked him back, his own shot grazing my cheek. I turned to the second, but not quickly enough to stop him from swinging his magically enhanced sledgehammer right into my rib cage. The pain was blinding. I could hear ribs snapping under my armor. My squeal of pain did not stop him from bringing down a second blow across my back. Didsidu's armor dissipated the blow across my body, saving me from a broken back and a very short parry.
Your armor's made out of metal, right? I mean, okay, you probably have some padding underneath it so it doesn't chafe. But for the most part, it sounds like your armor's metal. You got hit by a fucking sledgehammer. No amount of fucking padding. I'm actually pretty much an expert on medieval warfare. I know. Hammers and stuff are the hard counter to metal armor like plate. Little Pip is fucking she's crippled. She got hit in the back with a goddamn sledgehammer. You gotta have some real padding to stop that, and you don't got enough, Pip. It's a bad end, right there.
Paralyzed life. Calamity had fired off a double shot from his battle saddle, tearing gaping holes in one of the slaver ponies coming in on his side. Bloody innards splattered across the bed, wall, and window. The last went for Velvet Remedy. Oh, goddesses, why wasn't she wearing armor? I watched in horror from the floor as the slaver sank his combat knife deep into her shoulder, barely missing her neck. Blood gushed around the blade and turned her charcoal coat a wet black. Her spell imploded, the magic radiating from her horn fading away in an instant. I started to get up, crying again, as the bright agony splashed through me with fiery fingers. My targeting spell was still refreshing, but my opponent had already recovered and was bringing his gun to bear. The pony with the sledgehammer swung again, intent on pummeling me into submission. The submission of a corpse. Calamity fired.
I could figure that out.
The armor that had spared the slaver from my combat shotgun was not equal to my companion's powerful rifles. The slaver who had stabbed Velvet grasped the hilt of the knife in her teeth, intent on pulling the blade out of the wounded singer. But Velvet Remedy's horn glowed once again, a telekinetic light enveloping the knife. It was simple, weak telekinesis holding the blade, but it kept the pony from sliding out the blade as easily as she expected, and that briefest pause gave Calamity enough time to turn his barrels on her. He fired again, and Velvet was splattered with the wet bits of other pony. I was in so much pain, my vision blurred heavily. I was having trouble drawing breath, but at least now it was, I thought hopefully, only 3-on-1. But as the slaver raised his sledgehammer over my head, the door burst open. The white unicorn standing just outside the door opened fire with a pink magical energy. With the flash from my horn, the sledgehammer pony found himself pushed away, becoming an impromptu shield. An eye blink later, it was a glowing pink dust. Now,
that lady has some perks for
while I
crit
had to
with
fight through my pain to fire,
laser
my
weapons.
targeting spell had finally returned, and Sats guided my shots. And Calamity needed no aid at all. Velvet Remedy's horn glowed as she slowly mended my several broken ribs, jumping slightly as the train gave a buck. The pain in my side had reduced to a throbbing, bad enough to wring whimpers from me. Really, little Pip, this is becoming a habit.
It's
Her own coat was
Equestria,
matted
babe.
with her blood. The last of our healing potions had been consumed, and both she and I wore the last of our bandages. Only Calamity had made it through virtually unscathed. The slavers lay dead about us, save for the one who had pummeled me with a sledgehammer. His body
Time
had
to
been
get
vaporized,
lootin'.
turned to glowing ash. I recoiled at the thought that I might have breathed some of him in.
Now it's
I
alright.
turned away, staring at the floor. Though we had won, it didn't feel like a victory. Instead, I felt that I had led half a dozen train ponies to their slaughter. And, in the end, I had failed in the fight as well. If Calamity hadn't been with us. Reading me far
Sniper
too easily,
companion's
Velvet
always the
Remedy
best.
tried to soothe me. At least you got that one with the horrible sledgehammer. All I managed to do was be a target. You're doing more than your share with your healing skills and mending spell, I pointed out, adding, although I'm surprised you didn't stay with the freed slaves and foals. Velvet Remedy whinnied. That caboose was too crowded as it was. If I'd tried to force myself in there too, some pony would have suffocated. She finished tending my wounds, frowning at the increased shaking of the train. Scenery flashed by outside the window. Yep. Clayman returned to us, making his way through the rattling train. Looks like that was the last of 'em. The train groaned dangerously as it tore around a corner, forcing us to catch ourselves. Velvet looked between us with alarm. Don't either of your ponies think we're going awfully fast? How does this train of yours slow down?
No idea.
We use the brakes? And where are they? In the caboose. Velvet's ears dipped back. She stared levelly at Calamity. The caboose. That would be the big red car at the back, right? The one you just kicked free of us? I felt a surge of panic. Calamity grimaced a little. Yep. Pondering.
Is that where all the
You know,
slaves and
that would
foals
explain
are?
why the look at the train pony was giving me. I begin to see how you got your name, Velvet said flatly. Several minutes of confirming our situation and arguing
Do you
what
just
should be
leave
done
the slaves
followed
all
as
the way
train
back
continued
there?
to race down the mountain out of control. Soon, the three of us were bracing ourselves against every turn. We were still only halfway down, sheer cliffs flying by on either side. In the end, I decided there was only one solution.
Magic.
Calamity, fly Velvet Remedy to safety. Velvet's eyes winded. But what about you? Resolutely, I stomped on the ground, trying to ignore the twinge in my recently mended leg and ribs.
No, just sit
I'll be
on a
fine.
chair.
I figured another way off.
Don't do dramatic.
them
Just
looked
sit on the
dubious, but they
a
trusted me.
chair and use your magic.
So with a nod, Calamity and Velvet made their way to the nearest flat car. I'll be back to you, Calamity promised as he spread his wings. The wind tore Calamity and Velvet off into the air. And then I was alone.
Hey, no, go
On
get
a
that
runaway
caboose
train.
with all the slaves in it.
Okay, I thought to myself.
Don't want to leave
Now
that
it
out
was time
there.
to actually think of a way off. The train charged forward towards a mountain curve, hitting it far too fast. The train tilted. I could feel the wheels coming off the track. My horn flared with power, cold sweat breaking across my already too abused body as I poured telekinetic power into holding the train on the track. The whole train glowed feebly as it ripped around the corner, canted crazily, riding off on one side of its wheels. With a squealing thud, the train righted itself on the track, already headed towards another turn, this one throwing the train's weight against the rising cliff wall. The rocky wall raked at the train, gouging at boxcars and rending most of the roof of the passenger car with a resounding roar. I clenched my eyes against the storm of splinters. When I opened them again, wind was buffeting me fiercely through the gaping wound in the train car. I could see another turn ahead, this one even sharper. Trembling with exhaustion, I knew there was no way to prevent the train from leaving the track this time. I focused again, dreaming I could levitate myself to safety. Groaning with effort, I felt my hooves leave the
It
ground
was
just as
nice
the engine car
having
hit
a
the curve and
train.
snapped around it.
Wait, no, you
The
needed
massive
train
weight of the
ponies to
train
pull
did
it,
not
didn't
follow.
you? Yeah, never mind.
With a
Don't
horrific
forget
screaming
about
shudder, the jackknifing train tore from the track, soaring out over the mountain cliff like a snake with a broken head, and plunging towards the valley over 1,000 feet below.
I was thinking about how nice it was to have an actual working vehicle, but then I remembered that it was pulled by ponies, so fuck it. You don't even need the fucking train car for that. Okay, the engine car. You don't need that. If that's how you're going to do it, You might as well just get normal dirt or paved roads, guys. We're saving you a lot of scrap metal by doing that.
With all of my remaining focus, I pushed myself up and away, lifting out the open roof. But it was not enough. I was still falling, and fast. My efforts only slowed me enough that I could see the train fall past me, diving down to the dead forest below with an almighty crash.
That's how
The
Little
destruction
Pip
below
started
me
a forest
was like the
fire.
hoof of Luna against the land beneath. Great clouds bellowed up, obscuring the wreckage that I thought I was about to splatter against. Calamity caught me. The three of us, Calamity, Velvet, and I, trod through the narrow valley under the gray clouds above. I had no idea where we were, save that New Appaloosa was many days' travel on my Pip-Buck map.
Oh.
Assuming we could travel in anything close to a straight line. Assuming we were headed there at all. Based on the terminal entries, the slavers of old Appaloosa were selling the bulk of the ponies they captured to some pony named Stern in some place called Philadelphia. I had not lost my rage at what I had read, and the wicked, cruel things these ponies were doing. I kept it to a low simmer in the back of my mind. If I had my way, Philadelphia was next. But I could not ignore.
You're gonna need a lot of guns, cause
we were.
Assuming Philadelphia is Equestria's version of the pit. Woo! You gonna need guns, Little Pip. You're gonna need a lot of fucking guns. We're saying it's a shame you couldn't loot those guys on the train. Or you couldn't just use a levitation and just stop it straight out. But, yeah. Or better yet, the train crashed. All their corpses and gear are still there. Go there, loot all the ammo, then make your way to Appaloosa. Because frankly, and they probably got some health potions too. You know, maybe some medical supplies. You know, maybe something. Hello. That fucking derailed my monologue, you asshole! Oh, well, fuck it,
In
keep
desperate
going.
need of medical supplies. Likewise, the water and food Calamity and I had packed was insufficient to support 3 ponies for several days. We needed safe shelter and resupply. Once again, we had rested for several hours. The 3 of us had just been through a harrowing battle, and it would have been insane, if not impossible, to press on without giving ourselves time out. In truth, we needed much more than we took. I felt myself so weakened by my extreme feats of telekinesis that I found myself unable to levitate even something as small and relatively light as Little Macintosh. But the unfamiliar and possibly hostile environment did not encourage doubt.
It has a mouth grip, Little
The
Pip.
valley was strewn with black, dead
can
trees
rest your
and bits
horn.
of debris. Not from the train,
So dirty.
whose crash site was now miles behind us. These told of the devastation of Equestria's apocalypse. Fallen sky chariots and similar vehicles marred the land. According to Calamity, we were below the outskirts of what had once, high above us, been the Pegasus city of Cloudsdale. Now, there was nothing up there above the clouds. And on the ground, the only grave marker for the sudden ending of so many pony lives were scattered wrecks of Pegasus vehicles that had been too far from the city to be instantly consumed, but not far enough for those pulling them to be saved. Inappropriately upbeat music, heavy on the tuba, floated like a siren song through the valley. My ears perked, and I began galloping towards the source, my surprised companion scrambling to follow suit. "Little Pip," Velvet gasped. "What is it?" Calamity was no less confused. He knew the sound of a sprite bot, but could fathom no reason why I would be in such a hurry to catch it. Reaching the sprite bot, I enveloped it with my Horden's magic, dragging it to attention before me. "Watch her!" Calamity landed, looking at me strangely. Velvet, considerably further behind, dropped to a trot as she saw no sign I was in immediate danger of being crippled yet again.
Good
"Watch her!"
times.
I shouted crossly, giving the annoying sprite bot a firm shake, as if doing so would shut off the music and summon my cryptic acquaintance. "Watch her, I know you can hear me. I need you right now." Little Pip," Calamity began slowly. "I don't think—" He stopped, eyes widening fearfully as the music ended in mid-song pop, and the sprite bot spoke directly to me in a voice he had never heard come from a sprite bot before. Hello, Little Pip. How can I help you?" The tinny artificial voice addressing me clearly spooked my wasteland-experienced companion quite deeply. "I need you to send a message."
You know you've been watching too many Undertale Let's Plays. When, as soon as Watcher started speaking, I thought of Sans, the skeleton. "Hey, what's up, Little Pip? Got a bone to pick?" Fuck. fucking Undertale. It permeates everything I do this past week. Great game. Really emotional. It will start to infect everything once you start watching it. Like, everything.
To New Appaloosa. I waved a frantic hoof. There's a caboose headed down the mountain without a train. The train pony inside will make sure it reaches the bottom safely, but there's a lot of ponies inside, including 5 young ones who can't survive out here on their own. New Appaloosa needs to send wagons to get them. Watcher was silent, hesitant. Watcher, they're not in good shape. They have no food or water. Time is of the essence. Watcher spoke slowly. I don't know, Little Pip. I'm not in the habit of... I don't care, I shouted crossly. You care about these ponies, don't you? Do you want to see those foals die? No. I mean, yes, I care. No, I don't want to. Then get help. You don't have time to indulge your shyness, Watcher. Lives are at stake. With a pop, the spray bot's song continued. I released it, unsure whether to feel relieved or disgusted. Little Pip, Velvet nickered, clopping up to me. If you keep ordering your friends around, you'll soon find you don't have any. I frowned, reminded suddenly of my friendless nightmare. Calamity gave me a look that suggested she might be right. Velvet kept walking, and I fell in line behind her.
I don't know if I agree with Velvet on that one. Like, Watcher, I mean, this is a situation where we got, like, lives are on the line. If he doesn't want to do anything, he could go fuck himself. Okay? Look, again, it's the unreliable narrator, because this is all from Lil Pip's perspective. So, we're kind of naturally leaning more towards her perspective and agreeing with her. But at the same time, I don't like Velvet Remedy. Ooh. But, like, I just agree with Little Pip on this one. It's kind of hard to describe why. It's just, again, it could be the fact that the story is told from her perspective, which makes us naturally leans towards her on things. But, like, Watcher, if he was hesitating there a little bit, I think. Maybe, possibly. We don't quite know who he is or what his motivations are. But, like, hey, it's not just pony lives. You got children, too. If he wants to be hesitant, then he can just shut up and do what Lil Pip says. You don't fuck around on that stuff. It's not like Lil Pip is being unreasonable. I mean, yeah, she's being a little aggressive, but the circumstances are understandable, I think. You know? I think it's understandable why she's being aggressive. I mean, let's also just look at the situation she just got out of. She got beaten by a fucking sledgehammer. She's been shot at. She's been, threatened by what she believes is a God-made manifest. She's suffering magical exhaustion. I mean, I get testy when I don't get some sleep or something bad happen. When, like, I get in an argument, I get, like, kind of pissed off for the whole day. She's gotten shot at. She's gotten threatened. She's gotten beaten. She's got broken bones. If she wants to be a bitch, let her be a bitch, okay? She's earned the right to bitch you out, and Velvet Remedy, you are an asshole. Let me just say, it's not the fact that it's kind of her pacifism that pisses me off. It's really the fact that she worked with slavers that makes me hate her. I mean, and two, it's her... I'm not against pacifism, no, but I'm against pacifism without potential deterrence. Basically, Sweden. If you're going to be pacifist, be like fucking Switzerland or Sweden, Stay out of the fight. If you don't want to fight, don't fight. You good on you, but you make sure that you have weapons and the training to make sure that anybody who does want to pick a fight with you can fuck right off. See, it doesn't really work in Fallout, Velvet. I'm sorry. I know the whole idea of, like, utopia, like, I'm not going to fight you at all. And I have no weapons or possible deterrence to stop you from killing me or doing God knows what with me. But I'm the better person because I'm not going to kill. Now, go fuck yourself. Okay? It's like the Tolan from... You ever watch Stargate? It's like the Tolan are in the Nox. Like the Nox, pure pacifism. The only reason the Nox get away with not killing anything, including the evil Gould serpent parasites, is because of how advanced they are. The Tolan, on the other hand, say, we're not going to fight, we're going to stay out of this, but if you try to fuck with us, we got a giant-ass ion cannon right over there. So, Velvet Remedy, I hate your guts. I don't hate you as a person, I more just hate your philosophy, and I'm tired, and I'm kind of an asshole right now, and I'll probably regret saying this, but like I just said, when I get tired, I become a bit of an asshole. Little Pip, I'm with you, okay? I understand. You are in a way worse position I am, and I'm already... Ooh. I have to go to bed before I get even more aggressive against Velvet Remedy. I'm going to feel bad about that. I don't hate her. It's the naivete. I hate her naivete. Okay, I think she killed somebody, right? So, okay, I mean, she's learning, but, oh, she just rubs me the wrong way. Because I know of little... It's really the slaver thing that makes me hate her so much. Like, really, you're working with them? I mean, I know you want to help, but you're just... You know what you're doing? You know what you did? You basically healed these ponies so they could suffer more. That's like what the Dark Eldar do in Warhammer. They heal their victims so they could torture them more. That's what you were doing, Velvet. You know, the Hippocratic Oath is that you will never do harm. Well, sometimes that means you don't treat the person. Because, guess what? You're doing harm by fixing them because they're just going to suffer for a longer term. Oh, Velvet, I better edit this. I better stop right now and get some sleep and have a normal conversation about this tomorrow.